Hey, tell the story real quick, the Jimmy Johnson story where he left you after the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, so we beat San Francisco in the first championship game there at Candlestick Park, and it was my fourth year. It was 1992 that season, and so we win the game. We go in the locker room. That's when Jimmy says, how about them Cowboys? That took off, and that it was in that locker room.
Wow.
And so after the game ends. I just got out of the shower. Everybody else is out. The quarterback's always the last one to kind of get out of the locker room, because they wanted all these interviews, and that's every week, but especially after a game like that, all the national media wanted a one-on-one sit down, and Rich Dalrymple, the PR director, he's parading me around to the different spots, and we're all in a celebratory mood. We're going to the Super Bowl. We beat a team that was 14-2 and a great football team in the 49ers. And so then Rich and I come walking out of the stadium. Finally, after we get done, we see the team bus, and we're walking up, and we're about 20 yards away, and the bus takes off. And we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're yelling, trying to flag down the bus. They're gone. And so we had to get on the media bus, and we're driving to the airport, and I'm looking at Rich, and I'm just saying, are you kidding me? We just won the NFC Championship game. We're going to the Super Bowl for the first time, and Jimmy left us. Jimmy wouldn't keep the bus and wait on us. And when we got to the airport, when we got on the plane, I was asking some of the guys, I said, hey, what the hell's going on? I said, we had to ride the damn media bus to catch the flight. I said, did anybody tell, Jimmy that I wasn't on the bus yet? And they said, yeah. We started to take off. We said, hey, Coach, Aikman's not on the bus yet. He says, he can get his own ride.
That's unbelievable. Hey, we deal with that all the time.
I think Jimmy wanted to get to that airport and get into them Heinekens is what he was wanting to celebrate.
No doubt. That's one thing we know about. Do not get in between. They say don't get between a mama bear and her cub. Don't get in between Jimmy and his Heineken lights.
That's right.
That's it. Right? No doubt. And when we first heard that story, to us, we were like, it makes sense. And somebody else in the room were like, what do you mean it makes sense? They're like, oh, that's Jimmy. Yeah. It's a classic story. I don't know if we've ever heard this from you. What was your reaction? Give me the exact reaction when you heard Jimmy traded away Herschel.
Well, that wasn't a good time in my life. I will tell you that. I will tell you that. Jimmy and I weren't getting along real well, and there was a lot going on. A lot going on within the organization. My first thoughts, honest truth, is I said, you've got to be kidding me. He's the only good player we have. He's the only good player we have. That was my initial reaction. I just couldn't believe it. Now, if you remember, the Rams had a lot of picks one year. They had like 2 1s, 2 2s. Wait.
Back it up. You hear, who tells you the news, and what do you say something to Jimmy? Who do you vent to?
Oh, I probably vented to Babe Laufenberg. He backed me up at the time. Steve Walsh was also with the team, but Babe and I were really close friends. He's probably who I vented to. I vented to him, I need to call him after I get off this and just say, hey, I need to thank you for all the time you listened to me. But yeah, I didn't yell at any coach or vent to any coach. It might have been Jerry Rome was actually my quarterback coach. It would have been one of those two guys probably. But I just remember thinking once I saw then what we got for him, and Jimmy made, and I did think this as soon as I heard Jimmy say it. He said, this team was 1-15 last year, the worst team in football, with the best player in the league. And so his point being, gosh, if you can't win and you got the best player, then we need a lot more good players, and not maybe just one really great player. And so that trade was made, and then I just remember thinking, that sounds really good. I didn't have as good of an understanding as I did later in my career as to how good it was, right? But I just knew that, okay, it's one thing to have picks, but it all comes down to what we do with those picks. And if we make good picks, we have a chance to be pretty good. And if we don't, we won't. We'll just continue the way that we are. And a lot of teams over the years have lived that out, that have had picks, that haven't done anything with them. Jimmy obviously made great picks, and I will say that as good as Jimmy was as a head coach, I always say Jimmy was great during the week. He was great during the week. When we went in on Wednesday for our first meeting on the new opponent, I mean, he set a tone every week, and it wasn't the same every week. I mean, it depended on who we played, and he was great. And then the other thing he was exceptional at was he was a tremendous talent evaluator. So the thing so to go back to what you admire about people, contentment, Jay, in a lot of ways is like a 4-letter word, you know, and in my life, contentment has been a 4-letter word for the most part, because I don't want to be content. I want to keep going. I want to keep doing more. I want to keep kind of pushing and pushing and pushing. But there's a part of me that really respects people that find contentment, because on the other hand, I'd like to find a little more contentment in my life, you know,
a little peace.
So Jimmy has always been a role model in that way, because I look at his life, and he retired from coaching at a young age, and but he knew what was important to him. He knew what he wanted in life and what made him happy, and he went and did it. And he felt that, okay, I got enough money. He could have made, Jay, you know this as well as I do. He could have been another head coach. He could have been a GM.
He would have been the first $10 million a year guy, $15 million a year guy, $20 million. Yeah.
Even to this day, he could call a club and name his price and go be a consultant and still not really have to leave the island and all that and make a lot of money. And so to me, and the reason he doesn't is because his time is his most valuable asset, and he wants to be out there fishing, doing his thing. And I just love that here's a guy who could have made twice as much money as he's been able to make, but he wanted to be happy, and he was content with where he was. And so I really have admired that about him, and people like him that are that clear in what they love.
Did you? I don't know if you heard, but it was so cool last year. Last year, right after he gets surprised that he's made the Pro Football Hall of Fame, we go out to Dan Tannis, right? I think Bill Richards is taking you there. Bill, our producer of Fox NFL Sunday, that's his spot, Dan Tannis, which for anybody out there who doesn't know, it's like a legendary place in LA. And Bill Richards, our executive producer, he has like the in there. So he gets us, we go there, and it's me, Jimmy, Kurt, Terry, Gonzalez, and a few of us. We walk in. It was so cool. We walk in, and the whole restaurant's packed. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. And they start throwing the napkins up in the air, and a guy from ZZ Top was there, and he comes over and starts serenading Jimmy. Like, again, one of those moments like, Mom, how did I get here? How am I here right now?
It's so good, and I bet you were like me, Jay, that the people have asked me why did it hit me so hard when it was announced that he got in, and the reason was because Jimmy is such a special person in my life, and I knew how important that was to him. Yeah. And I know what he meant to me and our team, and why we won the way we won. We won, and we had the team we had because of Jimmy. And for him not to be in the Ring of Honor, and knowing how important that is to him and how much that means to his legacy, that I honestly, Jay, never thought he would get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Not that I didn't feel he was deserving, just that I thought he didn't coach long enough.
Yeah,
and he'd been a finalist before, and this and that. And so I had no idea it was going to happen. When it happened, I was just told, hey, they want you to watch the pregame show at halftime. And I said, okay. And I just thought, well, they're going to talk about strategy. If something happened in the first half or something, whatever. There's going to be some piece on it that relates to this game. And so I'm watching it, and then it all happened, and it was just unbelievable. I mean, I still feel myself kind of getting emotional about it, because Jimmy's reaction to that. And the best part about it all, Jay, is the best thing was when David Baker said, "Welcome to the Pro Football Hall of Fame." Jimmy, the first words out of his mouth were he wanted to thank his coaches and his players. And I thought that when he mentioned his coaches, I think people saw Jimmy the way that you know him the way I've gotten to know him, but there's a lot of guys with the Cowboys, coaches included, that don't know Jimmy beyond what they knew of him when he coached us. Jimmy was hard. He was tough. You know, I mean, that's why we did what we did. But now knowing how he is, and he does care for people, and he loves
us all,
you know, and he has a soft spot. He would never show that before. And so when he mentioned the coaches first and the players and what they meant to him, and that was unscripted. He didn't even know it was coming up. I thought it really kind of opened the book on the man, and I thought it was pretty awesome. And I know it meant the world to those coaches that were there with him.
How about the fact that David Baker, who's freaking 6'9", 6'7",
this guy's a monster,
was hiding in Fox? None of us knew but Kurt and Bill. Nobody knew. And my dumbass was in my dressing room talking to Andrew Whitworth about something. And I look up on the monitor, and I see David Baker. And I'm like, he's out there with Jimmy. And I'm like, I don't remember this happening. When was this from? And then I'm like, oh shit, this is live. And I run back. I run out. I have I was a blip. They hid it from everybody, but Bill thought Kurt told me. Kurt thought Bill told me. And I just saw it. And I ran out there, and he was so choked up.
Yeah.
And because earlier in the day, when it didn't happen in the pregame show, we just assumed it wasn't going to happen. And just Jimmy, yeah, no problem, I'm good. And I was like, Jimmy, it's bullshit. I get mad when shit doesn't happen for my friends, right? That's the loyalty thing. I love when things happen for me, but I really love and I live for.
Were you going to go take action
to my friends?
Were you going to go take action on somebody?
I was about to take action on somebody. But I was sitting next to Jimmy on set, talking to him, and he seemed fine. I was just like, man, listen, man, these people don't understand, and it's because whatever. Like I was just trying to think I'm going to try and console him, but he didn't need it because he just doesn't ever, lead on to that. And then all of a sudden, what happened is see the emotion he had, and like you said, like the first thing out of his mouth was everybody else, not himself.
Yeah,
that's what was so great.